that movie is nuts. Thank you so much for making it. I snuck into the back because I really just wanted to check the reaction to that ending, and we're going to discuss it. But before we get to the reaction, the ending, and what you created, Yorgos, I'd love for you to talk about how you got hooked up with Will on this one and how you decided to bring this crazy new take of the story to these audiences today.
Well, it was a great gift, basically, because Ari Aster and Lars Knudsen decided to develop the script with Will Tracy. And at some point, they just sent the script to me, and it's the first time that I actually read a script and feel like it's almost ready to go. And usually I spend years developing all the stuff that I've made so far. So that was a very pleasant surprise. I read it in one go and I immediately sent it to Adam. And then, here we are.
And now, of course, you joined into this, and I guess, I remember talking to you about, kind of, I'm talking about it for 4 years. Poor Things was even longer. This one was a shorter process. Was that an intriguing aspect of it? Did it change anything, or was it just the same format, even though it kind of came in a different way?
I mean, I think every thing has felt different just because it all was, conceived early with Kinds of Kindness. They'd been working on that script, so I'd seen that, but Poor Things was obviously its own longer term thing. This one was amazing because he had literally just read it and then sent it over to me, so it was very fresh for both of us, I think. And the script was just amazing as it was, so it was very, very exciting, yeah.
One thing I do love is that you brought several of your Poor Things collaborators into this, with the production design, the sound design, but one person that you also brought that's not here is Jesse, because he's just outstanding in this. He's not here, so I'm sorry. I just love the way you crafted his look in this. I heard him say that he made the grease himself and kept it going throughout the production. Talk about how you wanted him to physically sort of embody this, because he completely changes his body for this movie, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame he's not here to talk about it. It's kind of weird for, to talk on his behalf. What I can say is when we started with his hair, the first thing that came to mind was you look a little bit like Thor. And that's where the grease came from. It was maybe we should make it dirty and the ponytail and all that, the man bun. And the rest, of course, is Jesse and I. What I like to do with actors, especially people that I've worked with before, and we have a shorthand, and we know that we don't need to talk too much about things to be on the same page. It's just let them do their thing. They have a script that it feels complete. They know how it will work. Sometimes we have a period of rehearsals. Sometimes it's in this instance it was short, but we had just made Kinds of Kindness with him, which was almost like an intense workshop, because he had to do 3 different parts and 3 different stories. So it's basically just taking a step back, let them come in with their ideas about the character and also their looks, and just be able to be like an audience member, not be too much into it that I can't see objectively as much as I can, being part of it anyway. It's all him and her and Aiden and.
I mean, you have a little bit, right? No.
Well, yeah.
And I wanted to talk about.
I made the basement.
You made the basement.
Oh, that seems right. I didn't do anything.
Just showed up. It was great. This one, I love how funny it is, and the first like huge laugh I had when I watched it, and it was very early in the morning, was when you started kicking the crap out of him on that driveway. Like I was like, this is the best thing ever. Of all the stuff that you sort of got to do with this role and how broad it goes, what was the part that you had the most fun actually shooting on the day of? Because I don't know if beating Jesse is as cool as singing Chapel Roan. I don't know, like, which one was it though?
The most fun.
Or maybe it wasn't.
No, it's not that it wasn't fun. It was just there was so the biggest thing, aside from the physicality and the stuff, there was just so much dialogue that I felt like I was constantly trying to make sure it was in there so that I could be a little more free. So I wasn't as fast and loose as I usually am. But yeah, singing Chapel Roan was really fun. Honestly, the dinner table scene was really fun. Like, it's the only scene in the movie where we're actually trying to listen to each other a little bit. You know, and the rest we're making points that we want the other one to hear and trying to kind of get through it. But it was so amazing because Jesse's such an incredible actor. It was just so nice to sit across from this long table and have this kind of tension build. So that was also really fun.
Also, this is all from the source material, of course, but the antiseptic aspect and just putting that all over your skin I just have to know a little bit of the trick of the trade for that one because that is probably, I don't know, suffering a little bit for your art. I don't know. How do they keep that going?
Well, I mean, I don't want to ruin this, but that wasn't actually
but it was definitely something you had to get lathered with every day.
Yeah, that's true, but it was, wow, that was one of our biggest hair and makeup kind of tests. All different, there were multiple days, I mean, just kind of walking around for a while, seeing how certain things would sink in, because it turns out, human body, warm, things melt and like sink in, and you have to shoot for 12 hours a day. It's like, where did it go? Where did it warm? Where's the match of it? So yeah, it was a combination of things depending on the stage of day that she's in. But it was mostly like lotions and some foundation. Yeah, nothing too new to it.
I made the case for Greek yogurt, but
That would melt. I mean, it would look right, but it would have melted right off. I run hot.
So great. I want to talk about what Robbie Ryan did with the camera work in this one. Obviously, what he did in Poor Things was incredible, and what he does in this. But there's a pace to the film and the way that the camera moves, especially throughout the basement and some of the more chase scenes. I'd love for you to talk about the moment with the police officer and Jesse and that B setup, just the way that whole sequence plays out. I mean, I don't know, pick any sequence, honestly. And I would like to talk about it, especially the ones where they're on the move.
Well, I mean, there isn't much movement in this one because we chose to shoot with VistaVision, and there's this one camera that's slightly quieter than most, so we could shoot sing sound in a very small space in the basement. So it was like a table of a camera. So it kind of restricted us, but in a positive way. Like we loved the images, and then we committed to it, and we thought of this film more as portraiture. Like, how do you capture the most like deep, detailed kind of portraits of these people that are like going at it in this small space, and I guess maybe the times that the camera moves is maybe more pronounced because it's fewer than usual. So I think that was the idea, that most of the times it's all about the people. It's we weren't going to use very wide angle lenses on this one. It's very much almost like a still photography portraiture, and then when the action moves and when the people move, that's when we move. Yeah, that.
No, it's great. Also, this film is going to be a film that I think has a lot of conversation, but how it's cast is amazing. Bringing like Alicia Silverstone, and then also in just the fact that for most of it, it's just you, Jesse, and the young man that you discovered for this one. And I don't know how much he had done prior to this, but he is incredible, and I just like going against two Oscar-nominated actors. How did you find him and know that he could pull this off?
Yeah, Aiden, he's incredible. We worked with Jennifer Venditti, casting director, who's a lot of experience in doing street casting. I knew from the beginning that I wanted a non-professional actor, someone who hadn't done film before. So we, from the start, we looked towards that direction after we knew Emma and Jesse were going to be involved. And from the script itself, it just felt that it was someone who would be neurodivergent. So we looked for that even more specifically. So Aiden is autistic, and he's one of the first few people that we saw a tape of, and he immediately stood out. And then we kept looking because it just felt like we couldn't have found him so immediately. And it's like, so we kept looking for months and months, but we just kept going back to him, and we met him. We did a test for the camera. The camera is very, very important. Another protagonist. So we went to do a camera test with Jesse and Emma for them to hear the cameras, make sure that they wouldn't be thrown off with the sound of the camera while they're performing. And it was an opportunity to meet Aiden as well. And we all met him together for the first time. And, again, we just fell in love with him. And it's funny the way you say it, like Aiden, who hasn't been in film, and, opposite these actors, but it was like all of us who were like nervous around Aiden and, wanting to make sure that, we looked cool. And he would be like, what, which he was a little bit like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's this fake camera? Like, what are you doing here? He was a little bit throughout.
One scene that you were talking about is sort of like the dinner table scene, but obviously I know for a fact that your scene with him, because you don't really talk to him throughout the shoot, he's just kind of hanging out, but that scene was actually one of the favorite ones for you to sort of interact with him. I'd love for you to talk about that one, because that's when the film went from what I thought it was going to be to where I was like, okay, this is just another example of this man is insane and I love his films. Go ahead, yeah, talk about that scene.
It was amazing getting to finally do like a one-on-one scene with Aiden, because at that point, we shoot typically on Yorgos' films as chronologically as possible, so we had been in that basement for a long time altogether, but I never really got to speak to him. And he made all of us cry, I think, in like his first, second, and third take of it. His delivery of all of that, and then knowing what's going to happen. But then it became increasingly, sadly, sort of hilarious, because there was this part where he was sitting off camera when they were doing my coverage, and they did the blood splatter part, which was like a guy with a machine that just kind of goes like 1, 2, 3. And it just was like, and Aiden was next to the guy, and he just
burst out loud. Like he was at first saying, he was just like, what? Like we were still filming and he was just like over it. We just thought it was hilarious. It was like, that was crazy. We're like, now we have to do it again. And it was like a full cleanup and he was like, sorry about that, but it was crazy. So we were having a lot of fun during it too, even though he's so brilliant and that scene is so pivotal, obviously, and so devastating in the film. Yeah, so it was a perfect experience.
Right, and then I would be remiss if we got out of here and I didn't talk about that ending. First of all, how many of y'all, like, I don't know, at the moment when the ship goes up there, you were like, I cannot believe this. Like, you had no clue. How many of y'all, come on, raise your hand. Don't make me feel silly. Yes, these are my people. More of y'all were in on it. Okay, you're cinephiles, you saw the original. I got it. What was it like when you read that in the script? What was that moment like? And then also shooting it, because you pulled it off so, like, convincingly. I was like, yeah, we are at Dramamine, like, let's go, like, everything was right there. So yeah, talk about first reading it and then finally getting to play that complete, again, if you're paying attention to it, not twist, but twist.
Yeah, I mean, obviously loved it when I read it. I think Will, in his script, really kind of threaded that line throughout the entire thing. I was going back and forth when I was first reading it to whether he was right or not, and if she was or was not. And then shooting it was, the goo, was great, and then those costumes are incredible. There's just a lot of conversations that I think with Yorgos and Jennifer Johnson, our costume designer, came up with. They're so interesting and unique to have this kind of knitwear, but it's also, it does make me laugh every time they come on screen. It's so bulbous and knit that it's just, it does make me laugh. And the way they walk,
Yes. Well, that was the other thing I wanted to tell in the previous Q&A, which I forgot.
Well, tell us.
No, that
We've never been to another Q&A. You're our one and only.
For another film.
So this wouldn't have even made sense. Because it was for a different one a couple years ago.
No, that what you were saying, right? We were trying to create something, unique that wasn't like the cliche science fiction thing, but we also wanted to make it funny, like it's so that we find a way for them to move funny, and there's like some levity to it instead of like, the aliens which are, like this aesthetic of like dark and powerful and like just make it a little bit more,
It
Can
doesn't
we
work for me.
hold this?
No, that was literally my last question, was how you picked the visual look of that alien race, because it is the perfect blend of absurd, but then when we did this great moment with you at the end. I'll just ask you about this. Marlena Dietrich, that whole journey. By the way, y'all need to go look at this YouTube when she's actually singing it. It is the most like fierce performance you will ever see. So how did you know that this would marry so well with this kind of devastating ending? Well, very devastating ending.
Well, I didn't. I made a playlist of songs that I thought might work, and I would sometimes play them on set. And when this one came on, I think I asked Jesse and Emily, what do you think about this one for the ending? And I think, what did you say?
We were like, no. No, we were immediately kind of obsessed with it, which of course scares Yorgos off a little bit.
Yeah.
When a bunch of people are like, that's an amazing idea, he's like, it's not that great. Let's think about this for a minute. But there were lots of interesting ideas, but that one just felt immediately like, it's so beautiful, it was deeply moving. And I mean, every lyric of it is just, especially over that imagery, it's just, it felt too good to be true. So
So you went with it. It seems like in the end, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah, turns out.
I just needed some time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you came to their way of thinking. I want to thank folks at Folks Features, Aero Theater, and obviously, American Summer.